Desires, at their core, are often seen as something we must overcome, something that controls us. In many spiritual and philosophical teachings, desires are considered the root of suffering. Yet, could it be that desires are, in fact, a gift? Not a curse, but an intrinsic part of our existence, essential to understanding both the universe and ourselves. What if desires are not something to resist but something to comprehend, to integrate, and to use as a tool for growth? Imagination is the root of desires. It is the spark that ignites our passions, drives, and ambitions. Without imagination, desires would not exist. It is through imagination that we envision what could be, that we dream of things that are not yet real. Imagination is the very engine of creation. It allows us to see a future beyond the present moment, to reach for the impossible, to desire what we do not have. But imagination is also something much more profound, perhaps the first error or sin of the universe. For what is imagination, if not a step beyond the known, an exploration of the unknown? It is the birth of possibility, but it is also the birthplace of contradiction. Imagination stretches the limits of reality, creating a space where anything is possible, and therein lies the balance of good and evil. Every desire, every ambition that rises from our imagination is a seed of potential, both positive and negative. It is from this very tension between creation and destruction, good and evil, that the universe is born. In this sense, imagination is not just the fuel of desire, but the force that gives birth to both creation and chaos. We often see desires as simple needs: food, shelter, sanity, and family. These are the basic desires that ensure survival, the most primal urges that drive us to sustain life. These desires are often categorized as normal or natural, part of the human condition. But what if desires go deeper? What if they are not just the surface-level urges we feel to survive, but something much more complex, something that reflects the very essence of existence? The infinity of desires can breed chaos, driving us to want more than we need, pushing us beyond the limits of reason and control. Desires can become an insatiable force, consuming us, pushing us into endless pursuit, making us lose sight of what truly matters. Perhaps that's why we are bound by our bodies by limitations. Maybe these constraints are the universe's way of teaching us the importance of controlling infinite desires. Our physical form, with its needs and limitations, is the very vessel that teaches us to balance the infinite nature of our wants. We are born into a body that requires food, shelter, rest, and love to function. These basic desires are essential for survival, but even these needs are limited. What if our very bodies were created to teach us how to limit our desires, to show us that excess, when unchecked, can lead to destruction? Without these limitations, the human experience could spiral out of control. Our desires could become infinite, extending beyond our physical boundaries, creating chaos and suffering in ways we cannot yet comprehend. This is where the tension between desire and limitation creates the balance necessary for the world to function. By recognizing that desires are not boundless, we begin to see their true power not as something to be feared, but as something to be understood, respected, and channeled. But even infinity has its limits. The very concept of infinity contradicts itself. What is infinite cannot be measured, yet to understand infinity, we must somehow define it. It is this paradox that gives rise to the complexity of desires. Desires are not just a singular expression of need or greed, they are an expression of language itself. We speak through our desires, and in doing so, we create our world. Our desires shape our reality, influencing everything from our relationships to our environment. But in shaping our world, desires also shape us. They are not just passive things we experience, they are active forces, driving us to act, to create, to strive for something more. And yet, in this act of creation, desires can also be the source of our struggles. They are the things that can lead us astray, causing us to focus on the wrong things, to fall into traps of excess, greed, and dissatisfaction. Desires can drive us to pursue fleeting pleasures that do not bring lasting fulfillment, or they can push us to harm others in our pursuit of personal gain. This is the dark side of desire, the shadow that must be faced in order to transcend it. To transcend desires is not to eliminate them, but to integrate them into our being. It's about balance, about finding harmony between our desires and our true nature. Desires may sometimes seem evil, but they are also the foundation for creation. Without desires, there would be no action, no movement, no change. Desires push us toward growth, evolution, and the expansion of the universe itself. Without desires, we would be stagnant, frozen in place. But with desires, we continue to evolve, to learn, to challenge the boundaries of what's possible. In this sense, desires are not inherently good or evil, they are simply the fuel for change. They are the force that drives us forward, propelling us toward new horizons. Desires are what make us human, what make us feel alive. They are what allow us to experience the richness of life, the full spectrum of emotions and experiences that shape who we are. Even in their most chaotic form, desires bring something beautiful. They are the fleeting moments of joy that remind us of our humanity. A wandering thought, a fleeting fantasy, a glimpse of something greater than ourselves. Desires are not always about material gain or personal pleasure. They can also be about moments of connection, of beauty, of creativity. Desires can inspire art, music, literature, and every form of expression that transcends the mundane and touches the divine. Desires may make us feel as if we are robots, mere clones of our ancient ancestors, following in their footsteps. But in reality, we have the ability to create something new, something unique. We have the power to redefine what it means to desire, to shape our desires into something that transcends the limitations of the past. In this way, we can outshine the past and shape the future. We are not merely the product of our desires, we are the architects of them. Desires are not just for us. They are a universal language, a form of sensation that connects us all. Just as the act of sex illuminates life, desires illuminate the universe. They are the force that binds us together, that unites us in our shared humanity. Desires are not inherently good or evil, they simply are. They are a fundamental part of existence, a driving force that pushes us toward growth, change, and evolution. The key is not to be controlled by our desires, but to understand them, to harness their power. Desires are not something to be feared or rejected, they are something to be embraced. The challenge is not to escape desires, but to use them as the fuel for our evolution, for our transcendence. It is only when we learn to work with our desires, to integrate them into our lives in a conscious and balanced way, that we can truly create a life of meaning and purpose. In the end, desires are a gift that propels us forward, that shapes our world, and that brings meaning to our existence. Without desires, there would be no movement, no change, no life. Desires are what make us human. They are the driving force that allows us to create, to evolve, and to transcend. The challenge is not to escape desires, but to understand them, to harness their power, and to create a life that transcends the limitations they impose. Desires are not the enemy, they are the key to unlocking the full potential of our existence. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the paradoxes of life. If you found this video thought-provoking, give it a like and share it with others who might enjoy unraveling these mysteries. Don't forget to subscribe for more content exploring the edges of existence. Until next time, question everything and keep exploring your own destiny. Take care. Bye-bye.